Boom, boom. This is Ken Rear coming at you from the corner. How's everybody doing today? All right. Well, Azure Lane is up and online, so they got everything fixed. I've been spending most of the morning here going through, checking up everything. Everything seems to be working good. So let's go ahead and go over what we got here. All right. So if you did the previous event, which was the Northern Fleet event, this is very similar. They basically got an event board going on here where you have three levels. You got A1, A2, A3, and then you're going to have B1, B2, and B3, and then it's going to go into hard mode, and that'll be C1, that'll be C1, 2, 3, and D1, D2, 3. Then they'll have an EX, which is an extra mode for high-level players to farm the badges. So here's what we got. That's where you're going to be getting all of the points from that event. You'll also be able to get points inside of the mission tab. As you complete these, you'll get these. You get points. You get these badges as you clear the things. These can be used along with so that's 600. That's quite a bit actually. They can be used in the shop to purchase items from the event tab. We've got two event tabs, as you remember. We've got this event tab, which is currently going on for the Into the Mist right here, and you can get Bremerton and Casablanca in here. They still got the event tab up for the U-Ho event that they had out there for the with it that uses the drums, the Kanji drums. So make sure that you use the Jangu drum. Make sure you use these before the 15th because the shop will disappear at that time. So I pretty much purchased a lot of stuff in here, but I still got some left. I still have to go through here and I'll pick out some stuff. I was holding off onto it, seeing if I was going to need to get some oil, but they've been very generous with the oil due to the problems that they're having with the servers. They're giving us some oil. So when I logged on this morning, I had like 12,000 oil. So I was able to, I've been farming all morning, got a lot of points built up and everything. So yeah, so that's the main event. Okay, so it's the Microlayer Medley. This is where you get the silver badges. Okay, and there is a construction up under the event, and you've got all the ships right here that you want to do. So they're in a raid up time. So now's the time to get them if you want to. I've drawn on it. I got to draw on it yesterday, and I drew on it this morning, and I didn't get any of them yet. So haven't got any to take a look at yet. But as soon as I do, I'll make a video on them. Okay, so that's the Microlayer. This is to get Bluegill. She's a USS submarine. You get her at 10,000. Once you get 10,000 badges, you'll be able to get her. Right there she is. And then there's multiple copies of her from your almost enough to actually fool a limit breaker. But so got to get to 10,000 to get her. Same thing. I use the same badge. This is just now this is the phase 2 part. Now this is the part inside the mission tab. You need to get where you fully limit break right here, where you fully limit break the ship, and you complete some of these levels with fully limit broken ships. Is where you'll get some more of the points. Okay, so that's what these points are for, to get the chat screen. Okay, so if you want to do that and collect all the ships and get the chat screen, you'll have to fully get the ships and limit break them just like you did if you wanted to get it in a Northern Fleet. I have not made a determination if I'm going to do that as of yet. I have to see what the ships are like. I already have a pretty good U.S. Eagle Union fleet, so but there might be some ships in there that might might teaming them up together. I don't know if they have any interactions or any synergies. Just have to see. I'm open. But yeah, so that's the Bluegill event. That's the Under the Mist phase 2, which is right here. Goes up until the 15th. Z23. Remember to keep on this. This ends in a couple of days on the 1st. And if you want to get her Philosophy Sensei outfit, you need to do it 10 times. So if you haven't been doing it, it's going to be a little bit too late. You won't be able to get it through this event. I just got to do it once more tomorrow, and I'll start to get the event. Okay, this is the Hibiscus Scented Idol. This has been up for quite some time. So it's in the exchange event shop, and it's very cheap. It's only 300 Jangu drums, so you should have more than enough if you've been running if you're in the SP3 level that was up before they closed it off. And then time limited, this is still the same thing. This is if you want to get Akashi's outfit. Um, you can get the talismans. And then the monthly log on. Now they're going to give us Hazelwood. I believe that anybody who they're going to give us Hazelwood free, from what I'm hearing. When I logged on this morning, I had some gold and some oil, and some, but I didn't have any. They also promised us some gems. Right here, they promised us gems. They promised us Hazelwood. And they promised us some actual Eagle badges and maybe even some points. So because of yesterday, the server being down and a lot of people were unable to log on at all, I managed to get on briefly, and every time I would try to do something that involved intensive server contact, I would get kicked out. So I was limited to what I could do, but I was able to get some stuff done. I wasn't able to do any of my exercises, because the minute I did one, and the minute I connected to try to go to get it, it just locked up, and I had to, I got kicked out. So I wasn't able to do that. Also going in to grab any events from the mission tab here it was freezing up big time, and I was doing that as well too. And then finally, after about an hour and 15 minutes, I just kicked out completely. And was unable to get back in the rest of the day. It was either a network problem or the game server was listed as being down. So it was pretty bad. So, but it was functional this morning. It seems to be running fine now. So they knocked it out pretty quick. So you should have a bunch of oil to get on this event. So it's pretty good. It's a pretty standard event. Very similar in A1, A2, A3. Blew through these easy. I think it's A3 was like 30. The ship levels were like at 32, I believe. So you should be able to get through that pretty easy. B2 right here, I think the ships are about 50. So I would expect to be about 60 here. So you shouldn't have any trouble completing it on the normal mode, and get these Eagle badges so that you can get the I think they're called Silver Union badges is what they're called. And you'll be able to purchase the stuff that you need to in the shop. Yeah, it's these right here, because I'm liking that they actually give them to you in the mission tab. It's enabling me to get to 10,000 much quicker than I would have normally, and it's allowing me. I'm probably going to have her in 3 days. I'll have Bluegill. So there are subs now. You will encounter a sub in A3 on this event. Right here, you'll have subs. So if you do have subs, I do have subs. I haven't really focused on them per se, but I do have a pretty good subset right now. If you go into sort and I've got I-58, U-557, and Minnow Aqua. Those are the ones that I've been using. As you can see, I've got them in 80, 84, and 86. I haven't really had a chance to use Dace. She's USS sub, and the sub you're going to get, Bluegill, is also USS sub. So that'll be 2 if you run a USS subfleet. They'll need to give us 1 more, because I-58 is IGN. U-557 is, of course, KMS, which is a German representation, and Minnow Aqua is, I guess the faction that she was actually with. Which faction does she go with? I'm not exactly sure which faction they're running her with. Interesting. I think she's IGN as well. And then, of course, Dace, and we'll have Bluegill once that's over. So that'll be a nice little addition to our subs. This event runs until 4/8 for the first, so got to get in there and knock those out. The medley for the sub runs until 4/15, and this right here runs until 4/15 as well. So just a bunch of stuff. So the builds only go until the 8th. So if you want to try to get most of these through building, you want to do it. Also had this morning I had 10 cubes in my mail as well, so you'll be able to get those and use those for building, but I haven't had much luck yet. So that's everything that's up for the tab. So it's really similar to the Northern Fleet. Just get the ships, build them, you know, do the shop to get the ones if you can't get them built. Then you got to fully get them up to level 70 and fully limit break them if you want to use the Bullens, and then that will enable you to get the chat screen. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but I will see exactly what's going on, and we'll go from there. Now I'm going to wait. I'm going to get hold off on using the Silverwing badges right now, but I'm going to get Bremerton first, and I want to see exactly what she's got, and then I'll get Casablanca. So and then basic shop, 1,000 oil. You got your blueprints in here, general blueprints, 30 of them, which is nice. I can use these on Series 1, so I can use these on Monarch. And then you've got your T3 general parts, basic some, everything else. Avenger, PBY. Yeah, so yeah, pretty good shop. Very similar to what you have on some of the other shops. And then don't forget to finish this out. I might end up purchasing these Bullens, but we'll have to see. I'm holding off at the moment. So yeah, so that's it. So that's the event, Microlayer Medley. So I just wanted to go ahead and give everybody an update on it. So it's very similar to Northern Fleet. So just get in there and do your running on the event, and just run this as much as you can. Remember to use the ships. Don't forget to use the ships when you run this event. Okay, because you get more of the badges if you use the ships that they specified, and those ships are listed if you go to the Microlayer Medley, second tab, third tab actually, under the Mist tab. Hit on this button right here to get back, and you'll see the ships: San Diego, Saratoga, Helena, and Memphis. So make sure that these ships are in the fleet. Now, you don't have to defeat the boss with these ships. Okay, what you can do, and what I'm doing right now, because Helena and Memphis aren't very powerful yet. They're getting there, but they're not there yet. As a matter of fact, Memphis hasn't even been fully limit broke yet. So what I'm doing is I'm running this fleet right here. It's got all the ships. It's got San Diego. It's got Helena, Memphis, and then Saratoga. Okay, now and then I book wedged it with Enterprise and Monarch just to level them up. Enterprise just destroys pretty much everything, so I can use it. She knocks everything out pretty fast. So what I do is I hit the low level ships on that area. Not the carriers. I leave the carriers to my second fleet that I take in, which is my HMS fleet. So basically, I just destroy all the heavy enemies with the HMS fleet, and in A1, A2, and A3, it didn't matter. I was using both fleets because the ships weren't really a problem. I was actually using my Fleet 1 on most of those ships, and then finish it off with the HMS fleet. I'm getting to the point now, because as you can see, 68 and 81, once I get to probably the hard levels, that's not going to be functional. So what I resort to doing then is I'll do most of the clearing with this fleet, okay, leave and then do all the lower level ones with this fleet, and then I'll kill the final boss with this fleet. You do not have to kill the boss with the fleet with those ships to get the extra points. You just have to have them in one of your fleets, and you need to have that fleet active. Okay, so they don't have to do the final kill on the big boss ship. You can use whatever you want on the boss ship. So what I do is what I'm doing is taking in a high level fleet with this one, which is my my Vanguard at 12 and main at 13, 143. So they're very powerful. They don't have any problem taking out anything. And then this fleet right here, I use the low level ships to get experience points, but I let the main heavy battle cruisers and the carriers and the heavy boss ships with my other fleet. These, because you don't get the points because you have to limit break. See, they have to be fully limit broke. If you look in the mission, they have to be fully limit broke, but at the same time, okay, they can't sink. Okay, so if you lose one of those, if you lose the ship that they're specifying, in this case, let's just say, so if I lose Helena, let's say I'm doing A3 or C3, and I lose Helena, I don't get credit in this 10 of the 10 times I have to run it, okay? Because if Helena gets sunk, so you can't, so Helena must not be sunk, okay? Fortunately, A3 is a qualification for this particular Helena, so I don't have to worry about it. I can easily knock out A3 with Helena's group and not have to worry about getting her sank. It's the same thing with Saratoga and the same thing with San Diego, okay? Just make sure you get them fully limit broke, and then you can use whatever you need to do to clear these out. And then, of course, so if you're going for the chat screen, you need to be mindful of who you take in, because you can't lose that ship. Can't get sunk, or you don't get the points. You don't get the credit for that, so you'll have to do it some other way. But it shouldn't be a problem. But secondly, you want to use those ships because you get extra silver badges, as I said. So you don't have to kill the final bleat with them, but when you do kill that final boss, you get extra points, extra badges, which enables you to get more stuff in the shop and enables you to get the bluegill faster and just all around. So you want to use the ships if you have them, just for that regard. And then just work through it, and it's going pretty fast. At the previous event, they weren't giving us the badges inside of the missions. The only way to get them was to actually run SP3. But now they're giving us the badges back inside the missions tab. So you just get every day, clear, when you clear, each time you clear these for the first time, you get a bunch of badges. 600 badges is the equivalent of about running, let me see, I got 210 badges at times 3 when I run, when I cleared, I think it was B1, yep, when I cleared B1 this morning with the times 3, because each of these libs has a time 3. One time a day, A1, A2, A3, all the stages will have a +3. So the first time you run it, you get +3 badges, and then after that, it's no longer. So you want to go back and run all 3 of these each day, just because it'll have a +3. But I got 210 badges when I ran this, when I cleared B1 today, using these ships and with the +3. So 210 badges, that's a bunch of badges. So I can imagine what we're going to get on B2 and B3. We're probably looking at maybe 350, so maybe even 400 on B3. But if you look at that mission, you get 600. So that's a pretty big gift, and that's why you can see I run this a little bit yesterday, and I've run it quite a bit this morning. Probably put a couple hours into it running it, and I've already almost halfway to where I need to be to get bluegill. I'm at 4410 and I need to be at 10,000, so I'm very close to being able to get bluegill at 10,000. So you should be able to get through this pretty quick, and you should be able to get the rewards. Whether or not you want to, there's several copies of bluegill in here, but she's an SR ship. So it's not, you're not using your gold bullets, you're using your purple bullets, so it's not that big of a deal. But she's right there, so you can get her. But if you keep going, you can get some cognitive chips. There's blueprints right here, but unfortunately you can't use those except on Azuma and Frederico. So that's really not helpful in that terms. Yeah, so more cognitive chips, and it's basically just blueprints for these are the good ships. Don't give me FDG is probably the best ship in the game overall. I think she does the high in the game, but she's a priority 2 ship, and it takes a bunch of stuff to get her built. The second is Monarch, and she's a priority 1, so that's who I've gone for. So yeah, it's just but she's a good ship. That's why people who are going for that are going to have to go a little bit higher. But I don't see any problem considering they're giving us quite a bit up front, and they're even talking about maybe giving us some badges or some points as a gift, to apologize for the downtime on the server. So have to see what that is, but I'll drop a video on that once it is. But this morning when I logged in, I had some oil, had some gold, and I had some wisdom cubes, and those were gifts. I think the initial apology for what they did. So, but they're sounding like they're going to give us some more stuff. So we'll see. Since it was a pretty big problem and a lot of people were unable to log on at all. Okay, so that's what's up. So just wanted to get that out there, and go ahead and put a like on the video, and go ahead and click on the subscribe button if you want to be notified whenever I drop a video. And this is Kenrir signing out.